Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hatterman 4. Today we're going to be doing another Formable nation. Not as boring, hopefully, as last time, because actually I'm going to war, which is the Greater German Reich. Pretty much playing the game vanilla Germany. I don't really know how else to describe it, you just play vanilla Germany, so let's do it. Okay, so I think for this run I'm actually just going to play the game pretty much entirely historical. I'm gonna, to the best of my ability, within reason, like, quote, within reason, I'm gonna play the game historically, no early wars, follow the focuses, and see where we get to. Starting off with Rhineland, bing, building some military factories, boom, 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 boom. Okay, and let's get this thing going. So, in order to form the Greater German Reich, we only really need to do two things, which is hold Paris and hold, I think it's Leningrad and Stalingrad in Russia. If we have those two things done, we can form the Greater German Reich. So pretty straightforward. I think the key way of doing it is winning against the Allies and then winning against the old Russians over here, which is how I'm going to do it. Now, if I was really try-harding, I would probably consider an early war with Belgium and then an early war with the Netherlands. But in the interest of making things interesting, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go full-on historical, follow the focuses, although I might be sort of rushing them a little bit. The reason we don't want to have any early wars is so that we can keep our MIFO bills here, which gives us plus 25 construction speed for military factories and negative 5% consumer goods, which is what I need for an early build-up. Oh, the remilitarization of the Rhineland is done, which gives us lots of political power, a little bit of army experience. I kind of want to go rush down with treaty with the USSR so that we can get the early start on medium tanks and build up that production efficiency, because I really would like to use medium tanks for our war. I'm thinking of creating an agency, but I'm not sure what I'm going to be using them for. Germany's so overpowered, I don't really know if I need it. I mean, I'll make it because I can, but I just don't know if I need it. I guess I could use it to deal with the resistance when we take over territories, I suppose. So in case you're wondering what I've done here, I'm rushing out some horse divisions with basically no equipment, so I can convert them to infantry equipment and then train them up to be level 3. I'm doing this so that I can rush the Anschluss. As I said, I'm going historical. I'm just sort of going through it as quickly as possible. Treaty with the USSR is done, which means we can now move on to Anschluss in 1936. And the Austrians have agreed to join us, which means we get all the cores, the political power, and all the wholesome stuff we need. Now, as you can see, we can quickly move on to the main aspects of playing Germany. The Eastern claims, you can go slightly historical, and demanding the Sudetenland. I think we can start with the Sudetenland, move towards the Fate of Czechoslovakia, maybe get an early push on Poland. But then again, we might want to do more build-up. I mean, this is good, but we haven't even touched our industry, which might backfire on us. Never mind. Demand the Sudetenland. Oh, we can now get our Panzer Freeze, which will be the crux of the medium warfare. The Munich Conference, which means that we get the Sudetenland, a historic day for Germany. In 1936, I think I'm a little bit early, but I don't hear any complaints from the Allies. I literally just took our panzer divisions and I just turned them into medium tanks instead. So hopefully, if we can get these to 20 whips, I'll be pretty happy with them. With the Vienna award done, I'm going to move on to the Fate of Czechoslovakia and finish this off, so we don't have to worry about this part of the tree anymore. Do you know, I completely forgot to send volunteers in the Spanish Civil War. I'm a bit worried our lads in Czechoslovakia aren't quite ready for the war, but I'm hoping they'll be ready in time. The Fate of Czechoslovakia. It appears they've accepted, so we don't really need to do anything. I think I'm going to partition Czechoslovakia with Hungary to make a greater Hungary. Yep, Hungary is definitely bigger, I'll give them that. I just feel like having one stronger ally is better than two smaller allies, if you see my logic there. Okay, now I will consider doing just a few industry focuses, because I really should. I think I'm going to go down the Blitzkrieg path because we're going with our medium tanks, which is going to be my main pushing force with Russia. I kind of keep forgetting that I'm doing a Formable Nations video, because in my head I'm literally just playing the base game, like vanilla Hoi 4. There's nothing overly strange that I'm doing here that says, oh, this is a Formable nation. Going through Hermann Goering Works to get some more civilian factories. So France just joined the Allies, but we kind of expected that was going to happen. I feel like my faction is coming along easier. Oh, and we've completed a cipher for Poland. In case anybody wants an update with the Spanish Civil War, we are in fact winning, but I didn't think this would come as any surprise to anyone. I'm just thinking that after we get this research slot, am I allowed to break the rules? I mean, I know, I did say I'd go historical, and I feel like, you know, I've done pretty well, but I just feel like I have this path I can go down, and it would be a waste not to demand Slovenia. Because it's only 1938, I mean, we've got plenty of things still left to do here, and I don't know, it's calling to me. Do you know what? Screw it, I've just decided I'm going all history. I don't care anymore, I can do what I want. This isn't an ultra realistic hardcore channel. This is the formable nations, and I'll do whatever I need to do, including demanding Slovenia. The London surrender, in yet another triumph for daring in action, soon to be renamed to Caonia, has returned to its rightful home in the German Reich. I think we should probably sort out the second Vienna award as well. I believe I just won the Spanish Civil War. You're welcome. So for the second Vienna award, we need to decide who to give what to. Look, we said we'd make Hungary big. I think we have to commit and give them all of Transylvania. We have to finish what we started. Romania said no. Do I want to go to war with Romania? I don't think so. Alright, Romania, you win this round. Okay, we did the Ljubljana award and made Hungary even bigger. I don't know why this has turned into the Making Hungary Big simulator, but I'm enjoying it, I suppose. Okay, what I do now may be also slightly historical, but before I go for Eastern claims, I'm going to quickly see if I can get Denmark or the Netherlands. Then we're going to go for Danziger War. Okay, so we're heading into 1939 at the cusp of World War II, and I'm considering befriending Denmark. There's some other things we need to pick up first, probably Molotov-Ribbentrop, reassert Eastern claims, and then Danziger War. But I think in that order, I kind of want to have Denmark as an ally. It's on my, to-do list, if you will. I do believe Italy wants to join us. Don't mind if I do. Okay, it's time to go for Danziger War. The war is going to be a little bit later than it should be, but it should be okay in the end. Unfortunately, Japan seems to not know how to have a war with China, which is a big issue. Memel just folded... Lithuania just folded Memel, which means we can move on to Danziger War, the key point of World War II. So for those of us who didn't hear about World War II, Poland typically wasn't very fond of the idea of being annexed by Germany, so I might have to have a quick World War II. Oh, Poland joined the Allies, to be expected. Okay, I'm not seeing any major issues on this front. Lots of moving around, but no big issues, which means we should be able to push through here with some ease. Pushing into Poland slowly, not as quickly as I thought we would have done, unfortunately. Then again, we are using those tanks. I've saved them for the Belgian border. Okay, now that this is going on, before we take Poland, we better finish Molotov-Ribbentrop so that we make sure the Soviets aren't too angry with us. As big as Hungary's getting, it's actually not the end of the world. I feel like because of the resistance system, a lot of this land doesn't really have many factories in it. It's just going to cause me resistance. The factories were over here and in the middle. So if they want this empty territory with very little factories in it, they can have it. They're just going to get resistance from it. It's probably going to save me time and money. That is a very weird looking Hungary, but I think it works. I actually think it's a benefit to have it like that. Okay, with any luck, we should be able to push into France now that Poland is dealt with, through Belgium and Luxembourg very, very quickly. We'll have to move the air force there though. Okay, we're making good pushes where we need to make them. These tanks are too quick, they're just way too quick for the French to deal with. Okay, and literally after I just said that, France just exploded. It just exploded. I should also mention that now that we've taken France, if I scroll here, I do believe our formable nation has just become apparent. We need to proclaim Greater Germany. It does seem like that is the Holy Roman Empire, but despite the Holy Roman Empire, we just need to proclaim Greater Germany, which means Leningrad and Stalingrad. We have to head east. I think in this time we can have an alliance with Spain so that they can help us take control of the Mediterranean in full. It seems odd, but I think it could work out. I'm sorry, Hungary, but I think the Soviet Union's going to get all that you own. I'm so sorry. I'm going to see if I can land a cheeky landing in Dover along the east coast and East Anglia. I don't know if it's going to work, but if I do have my encryption ready by then, I think we should have it. To put a long story short, the Italian Navy did absolutely nothing and allowed the English to land. On the plus side, that means most of their army is in this ridiculous pocket. We're going to close it off in the south and encircle their units. Every cloud does in fact have a silver lining. Good night, sweet Vienna. I believe it's time to launch the naval invasion. Oh, there was definitely one lad here, but less so everywhere else. I believe that's a good landing. Now hopefully we can push through here and get to London. We've got a lot of troops in the same places, which is a big issue. But the only reason I'm doing that is because I don't want them to lose the ground too quickly. See, look, they're beating us on the supply game. Okay, so quick update. This is supply hell. I brought an army out just to make the supply less painful, but there's only so much I can do. I understand I should probably halt them so they gain back their organisation, but every time we pause is another second we stand to lose. So I kind of only want to pause once I've got a good foothold of encircling these units, and then we can push forward into Scotland. It's just occurred to me that because we took London, we can now improve the national spirit. I guess let's not be a bitter loser anymore. Have the Japanese lost their war? Oh god, the Japanese have lost their war. I've sent a tank in just to quickly take Edinburgh. It worked as well. It worked as well. Oh, right. Italy is going to try and screw me over here, and I'm not a fan of it. Achievement unlocked. Why die for Danzig? Has Germany turned France fascist and occupied Danzig without going to war with France? I mean, I definitely did that. Now, sadly, somebody did take a bit more territory than they probably deserved. Somebody who completely lost the Mediterranean and almost lost me the war. But that aside, we did get what we needed. They border guard Britain every time. They weren't even in Britain. They have no claim to take this. I'm sorry, they just don't. I swear, if I was carrying on, I'd be warring Italy at some point. I'd be full on, you know, to the bone, taking them out, because this is ridiculous. That aside, we now have a good poise to take on the Soviet Union, who still have officers purged. Before we go to war with the Soviets, I would like to have Romania on my side. So I'm going to work towards that. Hopefully the non-aggression pact will be done by then, and we can finish off the Soviet Union. Oh, legionary Romania just joined. Now hopefully, because we've got Hungary and Romania in our faction, we can bypass both of these two, and go and see if we can make both of them our puppets. Which will mean they won't be asking for anything once this war is over. Romania accepts, and Hungary accepts. Let's begin with the Anti-Comintern Pact, and then we can have our war with the USSR. Italy requests manpower for their garrisons. Mate, you should have thought of that before you took half of Africa. What are you talking about? 1k, enjoy friend. Let's begin war with the USSR. I think we're going to win. I think. I seem to have the small problem that I can't actually cancel this non-aggression pact. Huh. I guess we should just spend our time becoming stronger until the Soviets are actually ready to go to war. I think they kind of expected me to have not won World War II by now. The fall of Tokyo? What? Oh, great. Oh, amazing. Well done, Japan. Well done. You've really, They didn't even need to nuke you this time. I suppose there's that. There's always a silver lining, I suppose, but come on. What is this? What is this? Meanwhile, I'm stuck, not allowed to cancel a pact, when I think that at this point in time, nobody would really care. I believe the time has come. We can cancel the non-aggression pact, and go to war with the Soviet Union. Let's get everybody in here. Okay, this is going to be basically me micromanaging with tanks as I push through to get to Leningrad, then bringing the tanks to the south to push through and get to Stalingrad. At that point you can push in from both sides, take Moscow, and it's basically a good win. The getting to Leningrad bit should be the easiest, I hope, he says. Okay, the encirclements with the tanks is going pretty much how I hoped it would. We're not really pushing in the south, but I never intended to. Just to get these juicy encirclements all the way to Russia. So far, the Soviets don't seem able to stop the push. The tanks are just too powerful in the north. I have never seen this event before. The United States demands transfer of the American holdings. Oh, he wants me to give him back the American stuff. Honestly, you can have it, mate. I'm not interested. Oh god, he owns this bit of Canada. The absolute madman, what was he thinking? Somehow, the British AI is doing a better job than me at pushing in on the north. So, in case you're wondering, I opened up a front in the south using the tanks and decided to be a bit memey and rush all the way to Stalingrad. I do intend to finish this war with Russia, but I just want to see if I can do it. I don't think they'll be able to fortify any of this fast enough. And there goes Stalingrad. There's nobody here. But we don't have full control of Leningrad and Stalingrad, so we're not allowed to. We're going to need to take them in the peace deal. See, that makes things a little bit harder. I keep having this massive issue in Rostov, where one of these tiles they quickly push and take, which causes all of my units to suddenly get disorientated and not sure whether they can go through Sevastopol or take their military access through Turkey, which means I'm basically going to have to abandon the Stalingrad push and just focus on solidifying a front line. Even though this would have worked, and it kind of was working, this little area here is single-handedly destroying everything, so I had to retreat out. I've come to the conclusion that this AI is just struggling. It only cares about redeploying. At any given time, all it can do on this front is redeploy. Even though you can tell it has a very clear objective. Like, it's not that we can't beat them, we can very easily push them. They don't even have fully defended borders in some places. The AI, as in my AI, just refuses to push. I thought I'd test it out up here, and even though these guys have no org, it doesn't matter, they're still going to push. I just think it's ridiculous. These encirclements are just too easy to do now. I think this weird thing down here has had a reverse effect. Sending all my puppets' useless troops down here has somehow forced the AI to think this is a great war spot. Meanwhile, I'm using the rest of my time to make massive encirclements in the north. They're losing men quickly. I think we have the same amount of men now, which we didn't before. Yeah, we do. It's not looking good. I think that if I keep making them think this is a big war zone, we might have this in the bag. While we continue to make encirclements in the north, I thought I'd use my time to build up the nuclear option, so to speak, if things suddenly head downhill. Oh no, I hope I don't lose all these colony troops that I definitely don't care about. Oh no, that would be terrible. Anyway, let's look at this massive horde of Soviet tanks and people. I'm sure he doesn't care about these either. I mean, clearly not. Everywhere I look I see overruns. Everywhere I see pain and destruction and... oh god. I don't think there's much more left to do. I think we can just sit back, relax, and look over a grateful universe. I've sent a single tank to go to Moscow, just to make sure the deed is done. Moscow has fallen. I'm pretty sure we'll be finished before we ever have to use them. But, might as well make a start. Alright, I think I'm just going to push to the finish line now, and the next time you see me it should say Soviet Union capitulated. Stalingrad, here we come. And so it was that the Soviet Union fell. Goodness me, that took way too long. Way too long. I mean, I do admit, towards the end I wasn't actually doing anything. But it took way too long. Proclaim the Greater German Reich. Boom. And now we are a slightly darker shade of black. Berlin is now called Germania. Leningrad is still Leningrad. Don't know how I feel about that. Stalingrad, also Stalingrad. Bit weird. But other than that, I'm pretty happy. We also did unlock nukes, but we were 17 days or whatever off using them. Oh, it was terrible. Never mind. Anyway, thank you for watching. Another Formable Nation done. Hopefully the next ones won't take as long. Good lord. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.